Hello, in this 15-minute video we'll be telling you about the online courses provided by NPQonline to licensees. And you'll see that our courses provide enough material to complete the NPQ ML, SL and NPQH programs, and that they fit very well alongside face-to-face events. And towards the end of the video, in the last 5 minutes, we'll be taking you to an online course so that you can see for yourself how it works. So a bit about NPQonline. It's a not-for-profit company and we work exclusively with school leaders. The team has very considerable experience of working directly for the National College as well as for a range of licensees countrywide. And we have about 3,500 course participants per year going through. So why is it then that NPQ program providers use our online courses? Well, for one thing, they're inexpensive and require hardly any admin time. They cover the NPQ leadership curriculum and they prepare people well for final assessment, enabling licensees to focus on what matters to participants. Above all, the online learning is of very high quality, it's expertly facilitated, and it's supported by resources that are really up to date. And we've got some firm evidence that the leadership learning from the courses is having a very positive impact in schools. So you'll see that we have a very wide range of courses for program participants, and we've been able to customize many of these courses to meet local requirements, even writing new courses to meet licensees' needs. Our aim is to give you the online courses that you really want, not the courses that we might initially think that you want. That's what we try to do. So what's an online course like? Well, we're going to be visiting one, as I said, towards the end of this video, but in a nutshell, the course takes 5 or 6 hours a week across a fortnight at times that each participant finds the most suitable. The courses are fully facilitated and are engaging because they offer genuinely interactive learning experiences, and they use relevant and up-to-the-minute resources. The online tutors have considerable school leadership experience. Indeed, many of them are current or recent head teachers. Now, just a few figures. You'll see that we work with large numbers of people. The completion rates are also very high at over 98%. Now that's a little unusual in the online course world. And in their evaluations, people consistently tell us that the courses help their leadership development. They like online learning and they appreciate the expert facilitation and the useful resources that they get. So a few details about costs. I explained we're a not-for-profit company, and this means that we can keep the prices very low. You can pay as little as £83 for a 2-week course that offers the equivalent of over 2 face-to-face days with 11 to 18 hours of facilitation. We recommend the program packages as excellent value for money. So that's £249 for 3 NPQ ML courses, $349 for 4 NPQ SL courses, and $499 for all 5 of the NPQH courses. And that's all you pay. No other costs, and you get a report after every course on your participants. So if you'd like some more information or you want to chat about possibilities, do get in touch with Sandra by phone or by email. You may want to visit our website and explore a course at your leisure. You may simply want to know more about course content and how we best fit in with your face-to-face events, or the timing of courses or the technical background. Sandra may well be able to answer your question immediately. Otherwise, she'll certainly make sure that the right person gets back to you within 24 hours. We'd really like to hear from you. Do get in touch. Okay, let's go and look at an actual online course. This is the NPQ SL Succeeding in Senior Leadership course. And when you first go to a course, you're taken to the welcome page where you get full information about the course itself. You get an introductory video so you could find your way around, navigation, and you get an opportunity to say hello to everyone else in the course in an online group forum. And at the top of the page, we've got this navigation bar that you see here. This enables you to get to any part of the course, and just as importantly, it gets you back again to where you are now. Okay, let's go to part one. So we've arrived in part one. In this part of the course, people are asked to focus on self-directed learning, on emotional intelligence, and on the value of trust in the leadership process. They're directed towards the relevant theory and research, and then they're invited to discuss with their tutor and, of course, with their colleagues. So the first kind of discussion we're going to look at is the tutor dialogue, where each person has each of these people has a personal dialogue with their tutor. So if I go to Humphrey's tutor dialogue, here we go. And if we scroll down a little bit, we'll see that Humphrey's been welcomed by his tutor. He's already been in. He's posted on the Boyatzis theory of self-directed learning, and in this case, he's identified a rather sensitive gap that he feels he has. And you'll see that Maggie, his tutor, has already been in with a word or two of reassurance and probing him a little bit further to think about a little more about the gap and how he might use his strengths to address that gap. So that's got Humphrey started. But meanwhile, back in part one, a group forum has got going on the subject of surfing, sinking and swimming. You see it here. So if we go to that group forum, click go to group, and when we get there, we scroll down past the guidance on what to do in this forum, and we see that some people have already been in, 3 people. Charles has been in, Tim has been in, and Steve has been in. And each one of them has described how they feel about leadership, whether they're surfing, sinking or swimming. And the online tutor fairly rapidly has been in, and she's looked at what they've said. She's affirmed the sort of comments they've made, and she's beginning to stretch their thinking a little bit to think more practically about how they might develop strategies with regard to at least one of these modes of leadership. So that's the beginning then of a group forum. Another 20 or so people will join it. Okay, if we go back to part one, there's another kind of discussion which we call a peer forum. And in the peer forum, something like 6 or 7 people gather together for a discussion, which is more like a conversation because it's a small number of people. So if we click and go to the peers, we'll find our colleague Humphrey is in peer group B. So we click peer group B. It takes us to the peer group, and when we get there, we find that some people have already been in. Steve's been in and Mark have been in, and they're talking about managing and responding to the feelings of staff and how to reconcile that with their need to be ambitious for the staff to be outstanding and for the context to be outstanding. Again, the facilitator comes in very quickly on this discussion, and she's again affirming the sort of things that they're saying, but also pushing them a little bit, stretching them to think a little further about this particular area of leadership and how they could use it. So, in particular, the idea of emotional intelligence, she's suggesting they think about. So those are some discussion forums. And if we go back to part one, there's a few more things for us to look at there. You'll see that we have an activity here, which is a school-based activity requiring a discussion at school. It doesn't need a response in a forum, but there's some thinking to be done and some discussion to be had. And at the very top of the page, as we get at the top of both parts, is a resources link right here. And if we click that resources link, we get all of the resources that are used in this part of the course itemized. And here in the extra, for the extra step, are the additional resources which enable participants to genuinely personalize their learning and follow the areas that they want to follow that matter and that are a priority for them. Okay, then the week is soon up, and we get on to part 2. So let's go to part 2 and look at a few more aspects of an NPQonline course. First of all, I'd like you to notice the layout of the course. The page is relatively uncluttered. Can you see there are 4 or 5 activities on this part of the course, and they only occupy about 3 lines each. That's because of this device here, which at the top, if we click the title, a whole dialog box opens up about that particular activity or step. And that happens for each of the steps. We've got one of those panels that drops down. If we go to step 13, we'll see that we click to see the panel, and inside each panel, for each step, there will be some step notes. That we happen to be in step 13, managing resistance to change, and so here are the step 13 notes. And if we click that link, we're taken to a document which we can either open or save to our computer or print if we want to. So we're going to open it in this case, and then we can read the document at our leisure. What the document does is it tells us some of the background to resistance to change, and we see that we've got some theory here, and each time we always indicate the source of the theory, and people get a direct link so they can go and visit the theory if they choose to. And again, there's some more theory here on the models of change from the TDA this time, and again the source is provided so people can visit that. And a little more theory, in this case the emotional change curve, plenty of theory and background there for people to discuss the issues of managing resistance to change. Okay, if we close that document now and go back to the page, we scroll down a little further. We've already mentioned the additional resources. There's an extra step in each of the parts of the course where people can personalize their learning. And in step 16 here, you'll see that people are asked to focus on their development towards specific leadership competencies. And this is often picked up in face-to-face discussions with licensees and can be very helpful for final assessment. So we're getting towards the end of the course now, and if we go to the completion page here, and on the completion page is a surprisingly popular item, the completion chart. We think it is, and people tell us that they simply like to know what progress they're making by comparison with everybody else on the course. So that's where this is recorded, and this is updated on a daily basis by the tutor. Also, in this final section, there are 2 activities. There's a group forum. We ask every member of the course to review their learning and consider what their next steps are going to be, and that review sheet is shared with the licensees. And they also complete a 30-question evaluation form, which gives us the data that I mentioned to you earlier. But also, just as importantly, it helps us with the feedback that it provides to improve the courses and to continue to maintain their quality and to develop them. Okay. And we share the summaries of the evaluation data with our licensees. So, thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to know more, please get in touch. We'll be very happy to talk to you. Just contact Sandra, and Sandra will make sure that one of us gets back to you quickly. Thank you for your attention.